while since we reacted to VTuber drama here on the channel, but today I'm reacting to VTuber drama that I was actually indirectly involved in once again. Now, I'm not saying that anything major happened to me because it really didn't in this specific instance, and I'm choosing my words carefully here, but I will say that it was interesting because it happened to happen on a Minecraft server that I was a part of. Now, you guys may have seen some videos where I already mentioned I played on a Minecraft server with a bunch of other VTubers where I invented a slur. And, you know, I thought that me inventing a slur would have been far worse than anything that we're about to witness here today. But unfortunately, it was not, because somehow a VTuber tried to cancel another VTuber and ended up canceling herself. Let's watch this beautiful masterpiece crafted by Muujin to figure out how it all happened.
Accountability is something that we all must inevitably face at one point during our lives. Whether we hurt the feelings of a loved one or just straight up clog the toilet to unimaginable degrees, we simply just have to take a step back sometimes.
Okay, bro, how is this man is starting with literal shit in the video? You know it's gonna be a damn good video.
And say, sorry, my bad, I screwed up. And as simple as that might sound to a normal person watching this right now, unfortunately, as you might have already concluded from being on the internet, accountability is starting to become a rarity these days. But if we had some sort of a global competition on seeing who can avoid saying sorry the most consistently, then it would be content creators, especially ones who have a lot of followers and have built such an ego that they have become delusional. And unfortunately, we see many such cases, more specifically in the VTubing community.
That's so true.
Because today, we're talking about the VTuber by the name of Catastrophically, someone who tried to cancel another VTuber and her entire agency. And when she got called out, right, when she was proven wrong with receipts and proof, instead of saying sorry and taking a step back, she instead claimed that she was going to the hospital and she got community noted.
It's so funny, and I want to say something so ironic right now, but I'm not gonna, because I don't want any of this to blow back on me. All right, listen, Cha-Cha, you know, whatever you did, I'm just here to laugh at it. All right, that's not all I'm gonna say. This is something I don't want to be directly involved in. I know you're throwing lawsuits at people. I don't want the smoke. Okay, I'm just here to exist.
And as ridiculous as this sounds, I wish that's where it ended, because people would uncover that this was her third rebrand from two past controversial lives. And after putting the pieces together, would start to tell us about the other controversies she was involved in before even becoming Catastrophically. I mean, this whole thing was such a disaster that it ended up trending on Twitter. Guys, as this was happening, I could not believe my eyes. Not only was this crash out incredibly bad, but it involved a person that literally had zero self-awareness. I can't see this happening otherwise. The humiliation and embarrassment would be too much to handle for a normal person.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't like this person, bro. I really don't. All right, like legitimately, like I'm a hater. I'm just straight up a hater, bro. Like after they ruined the sanctity of that Minecraft event, I hate them. Like I don't think that I could like them. I had such a good time, and then they tried to spawn this BS. It made people question how good that event was, right? Like I'm a Minecraft enjoyer. You guys have seen my love for Minecraft here on the channel, and like realistically, this just ruined it.
So look, by now you know me. Once I see a catastrophe like this unfold before my eyes, I think to myself, man, I have to talk to you guys about this. So without further ado, let's do this. All right, so this whole incident actually took place in Minecraft. You see, there were two VTubers that created a server. The first one was called Lucia, and the second one was called Carissa.
Dude.
The survival multiplayer server they would create, otherwise known as SMP, would be called Invasion Parasite. But it would have...
Is that what SMP stands for? Okay, hold on. Survival multiplayer person? No, survival multiplayer. Wait, SMP. I'm so stupid. Never mind.
A twist. Other than just being an SMP, it was also an RP server where people roleplayed.
Wait, that's me! I am in this video, dude! Look at that. Frame one at the start, bro. I mean, come on, dude. You see, this is what I was saying, guys. Directly involved, indirectly, all right? And that's why we're reacting to this right now, because I'm here, you know? I know the ins and outs of this drama because I was in the fray, you know what I mean?
Different characters and made up different stories and scenarios, all meant to be in good fun. VTubers of very varying sizes and very varying audiences decided to join that server to have a good time together and get to meet new people. Some of these VTubers happened to be from the SOX agency, otherwise known as SVA, one of the few VTuber agencies that is actually still standing and works pretty damn well with its talents. The server took around 3 months to set up and would actually involve the work of multiple people. It would have multiple factions competing against one another while being invaded by mobs, and the event in its entirety would last 3 days. After the last day of the server, Lucia would tweet, "Invasion Parasite was a huge undertaking that I didn't fully grasp the intensity of." She'd say that it all started as a silly little idea between her and Orisa, all while thanking the people who helped her set it up, as well as talk about some of the issues that popped up that they were able to get through anyway. She mentioned how some people produced music, art, and stories in the server that she was blown away by and that she was very grateful. Overall, a pretty...
You know, I'm not gonna lie. She said that one of her favorite moments was me freaking out. And then, you know, freaking Slav had to sit there and tell me that it was all gonna be okay because tomorrow comes, you know, RPing like our final moments, like we were characters in Expedition 33. It's kind of like what I do best. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just such a good RPer. You know, like I am so good at RP that I would teach a class on it. ERP, educational role playing. You know, so like, I'm just saying, guys, if you guys ever want to ERP, hit me up.
Healthy conclusion, right? Well, this was tweeted on November 17th, 2025. On the same day, an hour earlier before Lucia made her tweet, Cha-Cha Chilla would herself make a tweet saying, "I think it's weird that people will act like they're better than you and literally call you inferior to your face and then act like you're the problem." Now, of course, initially her community was
crazy
concerned.
tweet.
Like, what do you mean? Who called you
tweet,
inferior?
bro.
Who could do that? Half an hour later, she would make yet another tweet, this time longer and specifying exactly what she meant, saying, "I wanted to take a moment to apologize for how I reacted on the last day of the SMP. I got genuinely frustrated and let that frustration turn into anger, and that wasn't fair to anyone. I'm sorry for the way I spoke. That said, I want to be honest about where that frustration came from, because I think it matters. From the start of the SMP, we agreed to hold off on griefing until day 3 so everyone could settle in, build, and actually enjoy the opening experience. When griefing started on days 1 and 2, it didn't just break the rules, it broke the spirit of what we were trying to create together."
Now, I will say I was on the same team as her. And yes, people were a little bit upset that, you know, the Reds were griefing on day 1 and 2. But like realistically, I mean, we were like, whatever, we'll get through it. We're probably not going to win, but that's fine. Like, we're just here to play and have as much of a good time as we possibly can. Our spirits were a little bit down, but like, I think that that kind of just helped with the story that we all crafted in our head, right? Like it forced me and Josie to build a wall and segregate everyone. It made me become a Minecraft racist and call the other people diggers, but it also made sure that like everyone on our team, when someone died, that weight like really set in of like, oh my God, we are losing numbers fast, right? Because, you know, everything was just working against us. And I think that like, you know, crafted the story of us being like such huge underdogs, but like, I don't think we expected to win, considering from the very start, it was laid out to us that, you know, both factions could side against us and we would most likely lose, right? So I don't know how you could go into this SMP wanting the best possible outcome and not understanding that you are role playing a character who is living in the worst timeline, if that makes sense.
On top of that, hearing things like my team being inferior or that we deserved to die got under my skin more than I expected. I didn't handle that well, and I should have stepped back instead of blowing up. I'm not here to hold grudges though. I want to move forward and be better and not let my anger get the best of me no matter the circumstance.
Which, by the way, this in and of itself is a fine tweet, whatever. She made it at like 9 p.m. on the 17th. It's like, cool, you got your anger out of you. That's fine. But the problem, I think, is that she kept freaking going, bro. And like when I first got sent this tweet, someone was like, oh yeah, drama is spewing. And I was like, okay, that's like a stupid thing, but whatever, right? Like, I'm sure no one's gonna see it. Yeah, everyone saw it.
All right, well, you know, you read this and you think, okay, well, maybe there was some miscommunication in the server, but overall, it's fine. She took a step back. She was like, I'm fine with it, not holding grudges. Let's move on. Except that's not where things ended, right? She would then reply to this tweet and say, and I also want to be honest about something personal. Being called inferior hit me harder than I let on because I'm disabled. I deal with those kinds of assumptions in real life more often than people realize, and hearing it in a space that's supposed to be fun and welcoming cut a lot deeper. I don't expect everyone to tiptoe around me, but I do expect basic respect. For me, and for anyone else who might be carrying something you can't see, comments like that don't just stay in the game, they stick with you. And that's part of why I reacted the way I did. All right, maybe that was a bit of a stretch. I mean, this is a roleplay server, right? This is just the word inferior here, but it's okay. We can just call that miscommunication.
Exactly.
Guys. It happens, you know, it's not a big deal. If Cha-Cha Chilla had just shut up and not done anything else, things would have been completely okay. Except she didn't, right? Of course she didn't. And the next day, she would start off an incident so massive that it would start trending on Twitter.
Bro, she's just the definition of the bicycle meme. You know, like when the person like is riding a bike and then they're like putting the pole into their own spoke. That's basically what she did, right? Like she just ruined herself, which honestly, again, pisses me off that this person even exists to this degree. And it's not even their first time doing this, which is probably a spoiler for the rest of this video. But this person isn't good in any capacity.
On November 18th, 2025, Chachachilla would make this tweet saying, I tried to talk to Flork about one of his talents having a habit of calling people inferior and how that can seem to disabled people. However, he blocked me and said not to bring up my personal issues with his talents. I believe calling somebody inferior is demeaning as it's historically used context. Ad-free VT called us that. If you support Sock's VTuber agency aka SVA, this is what you're supporting. She would then link a clip of 3 seconds. Watch.
I literally almost died the first like 2 minutes.
All right, so there's a lot happening in this clip, but near the end, right, what she's trying to highlight is ad-free VT saying, you're inferior, we're just better. Just as a reminder, right, we're in Minecraft, they're role-playing, and it does involve player versus player fighting.
Yeah,
right? That's just all I'll say before we continue, all right? Now, she would refer to someone called Flork, and that would actually be the CEO of Sock's agency, of SVA. So she was out here trying to cancel one of his talents for calling her inferior while calling him out directly, saying that he wasn't doing anything about this. Now look, I don't know what she was expecting, maybe seeing some people rally behind her, maybe she felt that she was truly fighting for a greater cause here, but almost immediately after posting this, the entire VTubing community just went up against her because God, this was such a ridiculous thing to cry about. Malfina, who is part of SVA, would say, a habit? A 3-second clip is a habit?
Bro, I'm so glad that everybody beat her up, bro. Like, I'm not even like for like, you know, canceling people, but like she's one of the few people that I think deserves to be canceled, right? Like, and you've probably never heard me say that before, or maybe I have, I don't know. But like, genuinely speaking though, this situation was so stupid. I think I ended up saying to another person in DMs, I was like, bro, they deserve the hate right now. Like, I don't even care. Like, I have lost the respect and the cordial nature that I would usually have in a situation like this, but when I saw it, I thought it was so stupid that I genuinely was like, they just deserve the hate. You know what I mean?
Where the person isn't seen, the word was spoken in a roleplay based around factions fighting a war against one another. Wilders were also making comments against other teams. That's how it works. What's unprofessional is approaching Flork as you did, purely trying to get ad-free into some sort of trouble, then being unable to provide evidence. What's unprofessional is stretching his "this is your fight" to him, allegedly approving the word inferior as an attack against disabled people. What's unprofessional is shouting about high raids and subs around those who are role-playing respectfully in open areas. What's unprofessional is starting to instigate other players even after a mod told you to stop, then playing victim as was seen on your stream. She would then specify that this had nothing to do with disabilities and would end this by saying, this all started because Addy unfriended you. Everyone has the choice to do so. This is a sad reaction. So this of course adds a lot of context that was missing in that initial callout post. As I mentioned earlier, this server had multiple factions, 3 to be exact. They were all competing against one another for the end goal of the entire story involving the server. So I'm sure many of you watching might have played sports or played just online games in general and understand that shit-talking your opponent is a very normal thing to do.
Absolutely normal. It's
like
insane.
Inferior. This wasn't a slur or anything, right?
Dude, the craziest part is that like everyone tried to be so nice to her, and I myself made a statement on Twitter about being like, hey guys, the role-playing server, blah, 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 whatever the case. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was trying to be so nice about it. Like a lot of the people commenting were trying to be so nice, but she just kept going, and it pissed me off the more I saw her try to defend her stance on the word inferior, right? Where she was like, this is such a bad word, right? And I was like, okay, like she just deserves the hatred that's being thrown on her, which again, is not a normal thing for me to say out loud, but like I have my limits. And as you guys know, I'm like sick and tired of unnecessary VTuber drama. Like I think VTuber drama has reached the point where like, if it's stupid, I want nothing to do with it. And I'm reacting to this because I just think it's actually just stupid, right? And like, I think this person just needs to be publicly shamed.
It was actually extremely harmless. Pretty much everyone from SVA stood up for ad-free, saying, hey, this is a role-play server, dumbass. And you even had disabled people. The group of people that she claimed to be speaking for come out against her, saying, yo, you're a dumbass. Inferior is not a slur, come on. And then you'd see another member from SVA by the name of Yami add more context about their past experiences with Chachachilla. quote tweeting her call out post and saying, "Oh hey, it's the person who kept following me around all of Offkai after I told them to stop and I had to warn security over her." Offkai, of course, is a yearly VTuber convention. She continues.
It's crazy because I heard a little bit about this story and like I was just like, oh, well, that's a little weird. And like, you know, having like, you know, this finally like come out more in nature is just like insane.
The person who was overstepping my boundaries and touching my arm in comfort over and over when I told them not to touch me and spoke at me like I was less than them, saying I was so brave for going to Offkai as a trans person rather than talking to me like a normal person. You don't get to play the victim when you've hurt and disrespected so many people, and many know about your past life and the terrible things you've done there too. All I can do is wish you find the help you need. Step away from the internet, find professional help, and breathe. Maybe the world will be brighter for you one day where you don't find a need to validate your existence by trying to bring down others. So yeah,
that's so freaking crazy. And also how I found out that Yomi is trans, not the point, but like legitimately speaking, right? Like why would you even say that to someone? You know what I mean? Like that's like so fucked and weird, and also following someone, you know, like I don't think that this person is mentally well, and I feel like you're already being shown the signs that this person isn't mentally well, and we are only 9 minutes into this video, bro. It's like 38 minutes long.
This wasn't just any random call out post. This person apparently had a history of being very weird and even had a past life. She used to be another VTuber, but we'll get into that later. For now though, the CEO himself of SVA would quote tweet her call out post and tell us about his side of the story, saying, "Yes, I did snap at you in DMs because you were told not to contact me anymore prior to this. Lucia's team investigated the first piece of evidence you showed them regarding ad-free, and it was not even them speaking, video included. Their team there gave you the statement on what was happening. It was roleplay in a Minecraft faction roleplay, and I will wholeheartedly back my talent that they did no wrong, especially in a 4-second out of context clip you originally showed." He'd link a 14-second video, and this was actually what Cha-Cha had sent Lucia's team, right, the person behind the server, to prove that ad-free was somehow an ableist, someone who discriminates against disabled people. Watch for yourself.
Treating guys.
Yeah. They're wild.
Guys, they're like,
gotta give them a
yeah,
pass.
what's happening with that?
Brains are a little smaller.
Dude, that's gonna put me on my god hard.
I was never a wilder. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's true. I never.
Right, so in this clip, you can see a bunch of VTubers saying that the opposite faction, the Wilders, have smaller brains. I guess.
Which again is literally just shit talking, right? Like there's nothing really bad with any of the shit talking that happened on the server. Again, for God's sake, I invented a slur, right? So like the fact that she would sit here and be like, "Oh, they made me feel bad. They called me inferior." Bro, I'm pretty sure I said the word digger in front of her like 3 different times. Call me out for that, right? Like what? Like it was just such a stupid scenario, you know, to be a part of.
I guess Cha-Cha was trying to say that this was ableist, like they were making fun of disabled people. Like, what? Disabled people have smaller brains or something?
That's what I'm saying, bro. And also, it's not even like she's thinking about all of the Wilders, because I promise you, I'm not fucking disabled.
Even better.
Okay, well, I mean, I do make videos about VTubers, so that's not really helping my case right now. So if we ignore that though, I'm perfectly normal. You know what I mean? Like, I just have depression. If that counts as a disability, then well, I guess I'm disabled.
Lork would be claiming in his post that the clip that Cha-Cha had sent the mod team didn't even have ad-free speaking in it to begin with. I mean, by this point, the circus was in full swing. This post almost has 1 million views, by the way. This was so ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's
blew
insane.
So much out of proportion. He would then reply to his post and say, "You also stated here other people do it, so why focus on me/SVA? Was it before I told you to not message me any longer as of early October?" And he'd link to images. Here we can see Cha-Cha saying, "Really? Because as I see it, nothing has been taken care of. You guys have known about the inferior things. Lots of people have been calling us it." In the other image, we can see Flork saying, "Hi Cha-Cha, I will admit I'm a little uncomfortable with your messages right now. I have been extremely busy because of corpo work and my other work. Though earlier in the year I had more time so I was able to message a bit more freely, I have not had that free time lately. Me not consistently DMing you is not a personal thing, however because of this I'm not sure if I'm comfortable to keep up communication. Best of luck, Cha-Cha."
Which is crazy, by the way, right? Like, it is insane that just because someone isn't messaging you back all the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that they hate you. Sometimes people do just get busy. Like, I, for one, do not message back every single person that messages me. And I also don't get DMs back sometimes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I just immediately think that the person hates, right? Like, everybody has their own circles, friend groups, everybody has things that they are doing. And I don't think that this Cha-Cha person understands that. I think they expect that everyone is supposed to love them and be available for them at any given in time, which is just not how the world works. You know what I mean? Like, that's a weird thing to think.
This happened on the 6th of October 2025, and after this he would block her. It seemed like that really bothered her, and she's held a grudge against him ever since. He would then continue the thread, saying, listen, we knew you were going to fucking do this because you did this shit before to other people. I knew you were going to drop this late. Maybe you thought I'd be asleep so you could get an edge on me? I specifically stayed up because we knew you were going to do this. I don't know why the focus was on me so hard, especially if your problem was ad free. I don't want anything to do with you. He would then...
I love that energy, bro. I love the energy he brought to this, bro. He was like, yeah, fuck you. All right. All my homies don't like you.
Add more context as to why he knew that she stayed up late, showing DMs from this July 2025. Here we can see Cha Cha Chilla saying, I'm a night owl. And Flork remembered that detail. The last thing he'd say in this thread is, honestly, do you not think I stick up for anyone in my agency? Come on. Before he even went into my DMs to try to get me to punish her like a school kid, I knew what was going on. So look, overall...
WCEO, bro. Absolute WCEO. Dude, Flork is a good guy, man. All right. He took me to Chili's once. I'm just saying, all right. Great man. Loved meeting him IRL. Loved going to Chili's. He paid for everything. And honestly, I'm learning that I often get handouts from CEOs, which probably doesn't help my case for being the guy that doesn't like VTuber agencies. I'm seeing a real pattern right now, and we're going to figure that out later. And I know some people are probably already in the comments or in the forums just being like, that Evanito guy, I wouldn't trust him considering he takes handouts from these CEOs quite often. I can still hate an agency, but I will say, right, Flork, great guy.
A very strongly worded statement by Flork. I mean, after this, if you had any sort of self-awareness, any sort of shame or dignity, you would probably apologize, take a step back, maybe deactivate your account. I don't know. But just to show you how much self-awareness Cha Cha Chilla truly lacks, she actually would reply to this post saying, actually, that's not what you said, linking DMs. Here we can see the screenshot from the 6th of October in which Flork says, hey, I'm not comfortable really keeping up communication. And we can see the blocked message from Cha Cha Chilla in which she says, I'm sorry, it's just that this has happened with multiple people and I guess it's really gotten into my head. I won't bring this up again. Flork then says, best of luck, Cha Cha. And then she says, thank you. Sorry again for letting this get into my head so much. Thank you for understanding.
Which is insane, by the way. And then she messages him 4 weeks later with a follow-up message to say that's not what you said, but then you're proving that you are the one who is coming out here like the freaking son of God trying to fucking communicate with the world. That didn't even make goddamn sense. My point is she's the one like making like the point of contact, and like she's trying to sit there and say that he's the one making the weird statements. What is wrong with this woman? She's just not self-aware. It pisses me off. It pisses me off that she even exists as a human being.
24 days later, she would say, hey, thank you again for understanding. Wanted to give you some time, but the standing...
I don't mean that in like a mean way, right? Like, I mean, I do mean it in a mean way, but like, I mean, like I don't like, it's fine that she's human, but it baffles me that she is human, if that makes sense, right? Like, I just, how do you exist on this planet and think this way? And I don't know what her struggle is, but I don't know any disabilities that could make you this stupid. You know what I mean?
These did arrive a bit ago and wanted to thank you for them. I love them so much. You do not have to reply to this, just wanted to express my thanks. So look, I don't know what the whole point of this was. Flork would just reply with, that's pretty clearly don't message me anymore, right? And
exactly. Like how do you not understand that? It's like, it's so cut and fucking dry, bro. It pissed me off when it was happening. And like, it's pissed me off again. It's just making me angry again to go through it again because I'm realizing how stupid this person was.
That was the whole point. That's why he linked these DMs in the first place. It doesn't matter what she replied with. The whole point was that on the 6th of October, 2025, Flork said, I'm not comfortable keeping up communication. Bye, right? Like, thank you. This was the nicest way he could say it. Cha Cha Chilla would then reply again saying, that's not what you said? You said you're not sure if you want to keep communication. Be clear, communicate like an adult, especially when you're communicating with somebody who's told you they're autistic in the past.
I don't care how fucking autistic you are. I think that autistic people are smart enough to understand when someone doesn't fucking want to talk to them. And as the autism whisperer myself, someone who deals with you autistic fucks on a daily goddamn basis, I think that you understand me quite well. All right. I think you do understand, and you're making it the fuck up right now. All right. Don't you sit there and try to group all of my other autistic girlies with your bitch ass. Sorry, that was a lot. We're gonna reel it back. All right. It really angered me. You know what I mean? Like, it just really angered me. You know, as the autism whisperer, as someone who doesn't have autism but knows how to communicate with someone with autism, I think throwing your autism as an excuse in this scenario is just not okay, considering I think that everyone else I know with autism would understand this. They would just straight up understand this, because I think it was very clear. It was very cut. He literally was like, you know, hey man, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable to keep up with the communication. Best of luck. Best of luck is a closing statement. Everybody knows best of luck is a goddamn closing statement. I don't care how goddamn autistic you are. You understand that. You get that, right? Like, unless you are a 7-year-old child, you probably don't get that. But like, as an adult, as an autistic adult, you absolutely get that. And I know you do. I just know you do. And it's weird to have this be the excuse, you know? Someone in the chat said I'm the autism yeller, and I'm gonna take it.
At this point, she's like, apologize or draw 25 disability cards and use one of them. Like, what the hell is going on?
I thought I was being mean, but Muujin saying this is somehow funnier than anything I could have said, bro. Draw 25 disability cards, you funny.
The top reply on her reply would out-ratio her by 20 times and would say, medically or self-diagnosed.
Bro, does no one like this woman? Every single person is just beating her up in the fucking, like, you know, replies, quote, retweets. Like no one is on her side so far. That's crazy. Like, I don't understand, which, by the way, you're probably looking at this video and being like, okay, well, we're 15 minutes in. Like, you know, clearly she understood, but like, why is the video still like 30 minutes longer? It's because she didn't understand somehow. Maybe she's making it up, but she somehow kept going. Somehow she kept thinking that she was right about all of this, even though at this point, thousands of people told her how wrong she was, which is crazy, by the way. I think that, you know, as a human being that exists on this planet, if thousands of people told me that I was wrong about something, I'd be like, all right, well, you know what? Damn, my bad, homie. But like, she like stood on her hill. She was ready to fight. She was ready to take on the goddamn world, bro. She's like goddamn Frodo with the one ring and said, I'm gonna make it to Mount Mordor, and I got just nobody on my side. I mean, Frodo at least had his entire gang of friends. She doesn't even have Gollum. She had nobody, all right? She's a one-man fucking army trying to make it a goddamn Mount Mordor, and she didn't even get it out like the fucking front door. She got her ass beat at the fucking entrance. I'm sorry, I accidentally muted the video.
Autistic people in her replies expressing how angry they are that someone is using their condition as an excuse to not take accountability. Like,
oh my God, bro, she got ratioed by every other autistic person. Bro, when the autistic people, your own people, don't even like you, bro, how bad is that, bro? I'd feel terrible. How would you exist?
Look, I've seen my fair share of absolute train wrecks of VTubers, but no one has ever taken it this far of replying to something so clear cut and still trying to paint themselves as a victim. And you know what the worst part is, or I guess the best part, since you're probably entertained? We're not even halfway through. It gets so much worse.
Oh,
the next
man.
tweet during this entire shitstorm would be from Nikita, someone who actually helped Lucia and Orisa make the server and was a staff member.
Nikita, bro.
He'd say, I am the staff
Nikita,
member
I love
who
that,
personally
man.
handled Cha-Cha's ticket regarding this matter. I feel it is important to clarify the timeline and the facts of our investigation for the public record. Initial contact. This issue began when Cha-Cha posted a call out in the public Wilders faction Discord channel tagging ad-free.
Okay, there's a nerd in my chat that said Evan, Mordor was the country and the volcano was Mount Doom. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm an Lord of the Rings fan. I'd like to apologize to every Lord of the Rings fan on the planet. I'm a fraud. I know I've been saying that Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite pieces of media in my entire life, but that's a lie. It's actually Harry Potter, okay? I loved when Dumbledore died. All right, there you go.
I removed that post to de-escalate public tension and immediately reached out to Cha-Cha privately to explain that public callouts can create a hostile environment. Protocol. I directed her to open an official ticket so the admin team could review the issue properly and fairly. We went back to the ticket she opened before and continued the conversation there. The investigation. Upon reviewing the original evidence provided in the ticket prior to her public post, we found no evidence of malicious behavior or targeted harassment toward Cha-Cha. Misidentification. Crucially, the individual speaking the evidence provided for review is not ad-free.
Which is crazy, by the way. Like, it's insane that she couldn't even identify ad-free's voice, which is the first thing that I noticed, by the way, when I watched the clip. I literally was like, that's not ad-free. Like, no offense to ad-free. I love ad free. I love all the socks girls, right? And guy, I guess they have a guy now. But I love all the socks girls. But ad free sounds like if you ate a bag of Doritos and then like you were trying your best not to cough up the Dorito air because it was like a spicy Dorito bag. Like it wasn't even a Cool Ranch or something. And so like you got that like slight rasp from trying not to cough up the Dorito air while speaking. And like, again, I love ad free to death. That's what she sounds like to me in like the most wholesome way possible. Love her to death. Love her to death. She's gonna see this. Don't hate me. That's just what I don't know how to describe a voice. It's a hot voice though. Like, it's a really hot voice. And like realistically speaking, you know, that person wasn't ad free. That person sounded like someone who like drank a goddamn like smooth banana smoothie and like their voice like settled in and it was super nice to listen to. Not saying ad freeze isn't, like ad free's voice is great, you know, but in a different way. You know, like some people like that, and I'm a part of the ones that likes the ad free type voice, right? Like, I mean, obviously, you know, I talk to Bella all the time. Bella sounds the same fucking way. So like realistically speaking, you know, when I heard it wasn't ad free. Okay, there you go. We'll keep going. I sounded so mean when I said that.
So so let's just examine this for a second, right? A staff member is telling us right now that the person who was saying inferior to begin with wasn't even ad free. This whole incident happened on the basis of wrong delusional information. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, the next section would be called Event Context. This was a 3-day Minecraft faction PvP event featuring 3 distinct factions: Wilders, military, and scientists. Intense, in-character banter and trash talk between factions are common expectations of the roleplay genre rather than malicious attacks. All 3 factions engaged in this behavior as part of the competitive atmosphere throughout the 3 days. And if someone ever took it too far and turned it into hate speech or targeting specific individuals, staff would reprimand said individual and remove them from the server. Roleplay context.
That's true.
So here he'll be
That's
talking about the clip specifically. The specific comments in the clip regarding small brains were made by the player in the video, who, like ad-free, was playing a Wilder Gone scientist. The player involved confirmed this intent, stating, "I quite literally was making fun of myself because I started as a Wilder, so I was the small brain in the room." Admission of widespread usage. In private DMs prior to the ticket investigation, Cha-Cha stated, "Lots of people have been calling us inferior." This admission confirms she was aware the term was being used broadly by the opposing faction against the Wilders group as a whole. Terminology.
Yeah, so like, why would you think it's an attack on your character for being disabled when you also blatantly said that you were aware that people were calling us the Wilders inferior, right? Like, bro, she just made all of us look bad, right? You know, as a Wilder myself, bro, like, you know, like, I'm just saying, man, a creeper should have gotten her ass on day one, all right? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. This might not have happened if a creeper just got her, you know, just saying.
Cha-Cha alleged that ad-free used the word inferior. We found no evidence of ad-free using this term towards her. However, regarding the term itself, inferior is a standard adjective meaning lower in rank, status, or quality. In the context of a competitive PvP faction war, this is standard terminology used to denote an opposing team's skill or ranking. In the ticket, Cha-Cha explicitly rejected the validity of roleplay context entirely, asking, "Are you saying calling people inferior is okay if it's roleplay?" After I asked, "May I ask, was it in reference of faction RP?" Resolution. I informed Cha-Cha that while we take reports seriously, we could not find a violation of server rules based on the evidence provided. Transparency. I explicitly stated that we would not stop her from going public if she felt she needed to, as we believe in open communication.
Which is also ridiculous that like one of your thoughts is to go public on something that happened on a Minecraft RP server where people were RPing. So yes, this was during the Minecraft war chat, if you guys are wondering. And it's just so ridiculous that it even got to this point. And like when it first started, again, I will admit, I told people, I even said it here on my stream, where I was like, you know, I had fun playing with Cha-Cha, and I did genuinely have fun playing with Cha-Cha. But when she started tweeting this stuff, I was like, she deserves the hate. And I still do believe that she absolutely deserves the hate. I'm not saying for people to like intentionally go give her more hate, but she kind of deserves the hate that she did get, low key. And, you know, on top of that, I will say that when it comes to the other aspects of this video and other things that I know about her and the stuff that she has done in the past, I definitely think that she is not a good person in any regard of being a good person, and definitely 1000% should be reprimanded for her shitty fucking deeds. So the fact that she would sit here and try to say that other people are bad when she herself is probably an infinitely worse human being than the people she is trying to attack, this is a lot.
Current conduct. While we respect the right to voice concerns, we definitively do not support the targeted behavior currently being exhibited. Inconclusive and manipulated footage. The public accusation relies on a highly zoomed in, chaotic 3-second snippet. In this clip, multiple conversations overlap and the visual is obscured. Adfree's character is not visible in the scene because we cannot see who is speaking and the audio is chaotic. It is factually impossible to verify if Adfree is the speaker. Attributing a specific voice to her in this chaos is a massive stretch and does not constitute valid evidence. Audio context. Even if one strains to isolate the faint background voice in this chaotic clip, the phrase audible is "they are inferior, we are just better." This phrasing explicitly links the term inferior to a competitive comparison of skill and faction strength, in parentheses, better. Uttering the sentiment privately among teammates is standard morale building, not a targeted slur. However, again, we cannot verify it was Adfree who said this. Retroactive evidence hunting. In her messages to Flork, Cha-Cha admitted, "I'm going to hunt down the clips." The statement, made after the accusation was leveled, suggests the conclusion, in parentheses, that Adfree was guilty, was formed before any evidence was actually found. This explains why the eventual proof was a misidentified clip of a different person. Unprofessional escalation. Cha-Cha claims she contacted the SVA agency owner, Flork, and he did nothing. This is a misrepresentation. The screenshot of that conversation shows Flork enforcing a standard professional boundary, refusing to allow
fair,
personal
right?
conflict, where one party has blocked the other, to be escalated into management harassment. Flork directed her to respect the block, that matter is settled, rather than validating her attempt to bypass it. And finally, conclusion. We stand definitively by our investigation. It is unacceptable that a situation defined by manipulated evidence and misidentification has escalated to the point where independent event staff must intervene to correct the public record. We expect all participants to adhere to professional standards, and we will not validate the use of misinformation to target community members or external agency leadership. Nikita would then link a screenshot in which she was talking to Cha-Cha saying, "Hi Cha-Cha, we are taking your report very seriously and are reviewing."
I just think that Nikita handled this like flawlessly, right? Like this was like a beautiful thing to say in the chaos and the nature of it all, because like realistically, like there's a reason. And I mean, I said it initially as well when all of this was going down, but there is a reason why I don't think I could be in an agency or in a professional sense like this, because I've reached a point in my career when stupid shit like this happens, bro, I just don't care anymore. And even with you guys watching me react to this right now, like you could probably tell that I quite literally don't give a shit. Like I quite literally, if I'm angered by something, I will make it very clear. And she pisses me off, bro. Like she high key just pisses me off. And like the fact that for whatever reason, she somehow thought that she was in the right. It just does not make sense to me. It like in any known universe, it is crazy, bro. Like it is insane that even the autistic women in my life immediately looked at that and said, "What the fuck is wrong with her?" That's insane.
Matter. He would then state everything that was already stated in his Twitter post. Like for example, the fact that this was completely fine in a roleplay setting. There was nothing weird that was said here. 7 hours later, Cha-Cha Chilla would reply to him, saying, "I've decided I'm going public with this. And in order to avoid the VTuber who streamed it getting involved, I've zoomed in to not show them."
Wait, so she said that she wouldn't want to get them involved, and then she zoomed into the clip, but then also publicly names Adfree, which means that she was probably aware that it wasn't Adfree saying it, which just means that she manipulated her evidence to begin with, which just pisses me off more because she's a lying, conniving motherfucker. I wanted to say another word there, but I'm not going to call her that.
But look, overall, this was a very well-crafted post. I mean, he really talked about everything here, giving us context in every way
Nikita, bro.
imaginable.
Did you know that Nikita used to be a fan, bro? Like, you know, in the olden days, Nikita was one of you guys, bro. He was one of the people that would like send VTuber clip stuff, like high key. Like he was a valued member of this community, and it is so interesting seeing that Nikita has like moved up in the ranks of the VTuber world. That now he's like a co-owner of one of the biggest companies in the VTuber space, which is the Oshi Bar. Like it's insane, bro. Nikita, he used to be one of you, bro. He was an Evanito super fan, like you are. So don't you just sit there and watch my streams or videos and think you're nothing, because you could be like Nikita, okay? You could.
And indirectly managed to make Cha-Cha Chilla look like an even bigger clown than she already was. Not only was she linking a very hyper-focused 3-second clip, but there was no way to verify that it was even Adfree who said it. Most likely that wasn't even the case. This was a clear vendetta that she had because she had her feelings hurt that the CEO of SVA had blocked her and that Adfree had unfriended her. It was just pathetic. So of course, we can't have proper VTuber
Crazy.
drama without the good old community notes, and her initial post did get that treatment. It would say, this was a roleplay server where people were acting. The people have no idea what this person's disabilities were. And their words were not a direct attack to this individual. It was directed at the group in the roleplay, only in the roleplay.
Yep.
The community would then link.
They would link what role playing is. That is insane, bro. That is actually insane. I don't know who wrote this community note at all. I remember specifically I was talking to a friend that told me that they had written a community note, and I'm not sure if this is their community note, but if it is, that makes it infinitely funnier to me, right? Also, question in the chat: Did you also used to be friends with CDog or something? The fuck you mean used to be friends with CDog V? What do you think, I threw away my friendship that lasted several fucking years with CDog V? No, motherfucker. I still message him every once in a while. Like, what the? You think just because I don't talk about him publicly, we're not friends anymore? Are you guys crazy? No, that's not how it works.
3 different Wikipedia links, with the first one being roleplay, the second one being acting, and the third one being common sense. Whoever wrote this was an absolute savage, dude. Holy shit. Now, of course, when you're a complete delusional idiot, it's really not enough when you can't take accountability after making false accusations. No, the cherry on top is being a hypocrite. And that's exactly what would happen when the VTuber Zion would show us a clip of that roleplay server in which they took the axe of Cha-Cha, and Cha-Cha called her a bitch. Watch.
Your abs back.
Please, I'm alive.
Why?
'Cause I'm alive, bitch.
My
So Cha-Cha's out here saying, oh my god, name calling, you're calling me inferior, ableist, blah, blah, blah. Bro, whoa. Whoa.
Damn.
You're out here using the B word, woman. As everything was burning, and this was literally trending on Twitter, Adfree would make this tweet saying, oh, hey, good morning, in which you'd see this gif that's
so fucking funny, bro. Adfree just comes back to the goddamn chaos. That's insane. Yeah, no, like, God, just getting upset over Minecraft is how all of this started, by the way. And like, that alone is so incredibly funny to me, right? Like, how childish do you have to be to get upset over Minecraft? Like, I understand that things could bother you to a degree, but to do something where you're like trying to, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sure if she's specifically trying to end this person's career, but like, she definitely wanted some sort of reprimanding to happen to Adfree, you know what I mean? Which is absolutely silly to think about, because it is once again over Minecraft, in which a situation wasn't even that serious, but they determined in their own head that the word inferior was a slur. You know what I mean?
sums things up very perfectly.
Sorry if I came out wrong. I meant you're still friends with him. You're fine,
dude. But you see, the thing with Cha-Cha Chilla is that she had so much more to offer to the world. That's right. Even after everything that's happened so far, she didn't.
Chat, I'm not mad at you guys. I'm just saying, you know, like, this video angers me, and I got a little passionate there, you know. My bad, dude. My bad. You know, dap me up, chat. Dap me up, right? Yeah. There you go. We're good.
Think it would be a good idea to get rid of her phone or something. No, instead she'd get the incredible idea of making things 100 times worse by not shutting up and going as far as starting a fundraiser to sue people defaming her name. I wish I was joking.
Yeah.
After Cha-Cha Chilla's tweet would get community noted, she would swiftly delete it. But that didn't stop the whole incident from trending on Twitter and making people aware of who Cha-Cha Chilla truly was.
I want to point out that there are so many people in the VTuber community that don't like me, but I've never trended on Twitter. And that's for a very good reason. It's because I've actually never done anything wrong, to be fair. And notice how every single time a quote unquote cancellation of Evino happens, nothing ever happens to me as a person, because everyone knows. Well, I guess they don't know, but like, there's never really any evidence to say that I've done anything wrong, because I literally quite haven't done anything wrong. Anyway, that's besides the point. Although it is kind of funny to mention, 3 separate occasions this weekend alone, 3 different people have like approached me and been like, you know, Evan, a lot of people told me not to talk to you, you're controversial, blah blah blah, but after talking to you, you're just a super chill and nice guy. Which is crazy. It is insane how many VTubers will make up lies about me, and then these same goddamn people are doing stupid things like this. Not Apollo, obviously. Apollo's a good person. I'm not saying that Cha-Cha did that either. I'm just saying VTubers in general will make up stuff about me that is blatantly untrue, and somehow a lot of people just hear this stuff, and I don't know what they're saying anymore, considering like I would like to think I'm a good person, or at least all right, like my Cora says. But TLDR, right? Like what I was saying earlier, Cha-Cha is a terrible human being, right? And I feel like the energy in the VTuber community shouldn't be focused on an individual like me. I feel like if we're really trying to cancel someone, cancel motherfuckers like her who actually have done terrible things, right? Because, you know, all I'm saying is, you know, VTubers like to think that I'm such a bad person, but realistically, no matter what I've done, I don't think I will ever never be as bad and as problematic as these other people, right? I'm sorry that I said I don't like your Oshi, or I'm sorry that you think that like I, you know, don't like corporations. I mean, I don't like corporations. That's just a known fact about, right? But I don't think that any of that is anywhere near as bad as like, I don't know, fucking making goddamn revenge porn on someone. That's just fucking awful.
When people would start to uncover her past. Apollo Mythos would make this tweet saying, "Let me give you some more context. Cha-Cha Chilla, aka Bunny Alisu. I was nice, respectful, and tried to be a friend at the time. I wanted you to get help. You harassed me and my friends and so many others for years. You have doxed IRL faces / names, bullied, spread lies, and got blacklisted from Mythos for a good reason. Mythos being the agency that she's a part of. I gave them a 10+ page document. When we didn't give you what you wanted, you did revenge porn." Yes, that's the P word, adult videos.
That's so
Every single
screwed
time
up,
I had
bro.
something awesome happen to me, you
That's
got butthurt
so
with my
screwed
success
up.
early on. You shared it everywhere, and people saw that side of me. You took my power, and just 2 days before TwitchCon, where I wanted to see people for the first time, my first event, I had to listen to so many people saying they were on my side and that they saw it. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want that. But you didn't stop there. You kept harassing me for months on end because I wasn't flinching in public. You had to make videos, accounts, and spreading it all over Mythos. I didn't feel safe anymore. I was so overwhelmed I couldn't even stream properly because of you. I lost a lot of things and it harmed me. So obviously,
and I'm not gonna lie, Cha-Cha, aka Bunny Alisu, I did see all of this stuff go down where they consistently kept trying to like attack Apollo, and like, you know, I myself was like, what the hell is going on, right? Like there's other instances with other friends that I have where this Cha-Cha person allegedly, I'm not trying to get sued, basically wrote them messages saying that they have faked suicide attempts before, and like, you know, this person has the screenshots and they posted about them. So I'm not sure if you guys saw if that's featured in this video. And you know, I'm not here to like say that like we should, you know, publicly execute Cha-Cha. I'm here to make sure that it happens. All right, you know, we should goddamn make sure that this person never makes content again because they're not good in any regard. But like, you guys don't like publicly attack them, you know, make me make fun of them because like I think they're a shitty person, you know what I mean?
that's a crazy accusation, right? It seemed like Cha-Cha Chilla wasn't just someone who was desperate for clout, going after an agency and its CEO. This was someone who was genuinely dangerous, who had hurt people in the past and tried to rebrand to get away from that without, of course, taking any accountability. The replies on this post would be nothing but supportive to Apollo, with quite a few friends confirming, yes, you went through so much,
Crazy,
we're here
bro.
for you, and now you can finally let it out comfortably because we're here to back you up. Apollo's post would make Cha-Cha Chilla finally make some sort of statement after deleting her initial call out. And this is what she had to say. She'd start off with, "I feel so empty. I lost everything, and I really have nobody to blame but myself. I will say I genuinely thought using inferior was bad, but when everybody disagrees with you, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes.
This was bigger than a damn mistake, bro. You dug a hole so goddamn deep. I don't think the fucking trenches of goddamn Terabithia are fucking deep enough to like, you know, fit like your goddamn massive cabeza in here because you thought that you were right in every regard initially. Like, I just do not understand how you could have made those statements and somehow thought right from frame one that you were in the right. Like, especially given what you were presenting up front. It is crazy to me that you even sat there and you simply, you know, didn't communicate to a single human being. To be fair though, you said that you're lonely, right? I guess, did she say that she's lonely? I don't know. She probably is lonely, all right? She probably has no goddamn friends on her side at all. You know what she should have done though? You know what would have fucking helped her? GamerSupps using code DOLL, all right? If you say it would save you 10%, could have had a drink of that and you would have felt a lot better. Probably not helped you with your mental issues. You'd probably at least feel a little bit better. I know I'm throwing a sponsor in here in the middle of this goddamn video, but you just need to understand the anger and the rage that I'm feeling inside of me right now. I'm yapping a lot more than I usually yap about a person that I don't like.
I will say I saw Apollo's post and I never doxed anybody nor did revenge porn. That's going too far. Please provide evidence. I'm taking a step back from the internet. I feel like I just need to delve deeper into therapy about my impulsiveness and my sadness that turns into anger. I made a very impulsive mistake last night, so this is the last time I'll have access to my phone for a while. I don't know when or if I'll be back. I'm sorry that I caused drama and sorry to those I hurt. Now, one thing I want to point out in this amazingly well-crafted statement is that she had never apologized to either AdFree or Flork, nor did she apologize to the server owners or the staff that was very professional with her, by the way. She just says, hey, I have nobody to blame but myself. I made a mistake, but she never really took accountability to the people that she was trying to destroy. She was literally trying to cancel people. Someone would point this out in the replies, saying you never apologize to Adfree or Flork. You're trying to dodge responsibility for what you did to Apollo and to Yami. This isn't nearly enough and you're just doing this for damage control. She'd reply with, I will say that I did say Yami was brave for showing her face without a mask, but not for being trans. I can't take responsibility for things I didn't do. As for the lack of apology towards Adfree and Flork, they've told me they want nothing to do with me and I'm respecting that. I swear, man, if lack of self-awareness was a person, I think it would personify itself. It would show up and manifest as Cha-Cha Chilla. I need to point out the fact that this post almost has 700,000 views, but man, I mean, you can tell a lot from the engagement, right? Almost
That's
100
insane.
comments, all completely pooping on her entire existence. And even though that was the case, she would still make an effort to reply to Apollo's post, linking her statement there, saying, posting this here too. Of course, literally just one like on this whole thing. I think
That is insane, bro. Like, got ratioed so goddamn hard, bro. Like, how do you live with the thought and the fact that not a single goddamn human being is on your side, bro? Like, it's crazy, bro. It's actually freaking crazy. You know, like I am like so shocked that any of this even happened. You know what I mean? When she gets back to streaming, that's her 4th rebrand. Dude, it's insane. Like, why keep trying when no one likes you? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe that's just human resolve at the end of the day, where like we consistently keep trying with things that, like, you know, don't work out. But that's also the definition of insanity, right? So like, I don't know. I would personally just not.
she liked it herself or something. And as you might expect, there's not a single positive reply here. Now look, this had already blown way beyond proportion, right? And even though this was a very unlikable, vile person who just can't say sorry no matter what and has past lives in which they actually hurt other people, I think it's safe to say that things would have died down if, you know, Cha-Cha Chilla actually stepped back and didn't touch her phone anymore. But did that actually happen? As you might expect, hell no. Because not even 20 minutes later, she would tweet out, I'll be heading off to the hospital soon and won't have access to my phone. People, of course, didn't believe her. It's been 20 minutes since you posted that image, bro. Are you just farming for pity? She would then reply to her post saying, since people don't believe me, while linking an image of presumably her in a hospital room while censoring her face. People still didn't believe her, so she replied even further, saying,
It's
also,
crazy,
I wasn't
bro.
hospitalized in under 22 minutes. I had been there since November 17th. I was waiting to be transferred to a psych ward. However, the psych ward was full, so I was discharged instead. Linking an image that showed her hospital history, saying that on November 17th, 2025, she had gone to the emergency department. So what she didn't realize by doing this is that she exposed the fact that she had made her initial call-out post while being in the hospital. Which meant that her tweet saying, I'm headed to the hospital was a lie. She was already there. She was only fishing for attention.
Yup. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that the internet was smart enough to like fucking call that out, bro. Like it like everything about it just absolutely freaking angered me the more I kept seeing it. Right. And now you understand where I'm coming from, where when I saw this, I was like, bro, this Minecraft event was so chill. It was so cool. And it was so nice. But this girl, this woman, whatever, just like keeps freaking making herself look so bad and cause so much unnecessary drama to a Minecraft event that I personally thought was so freaking cool, and I would love to be able to be a part of something so wholesome and so awesome again. But she just added a goddamn shit stain to the fucking like beautiful like white sheet of an event that this was. You know what I mean? Like, you know, no offense, and I will agree with the person in the chat right now, kind of deserve to be canceled in this regard, you know?
Call-out post was made on November 18th, 2025. She made this while waiting to go to the psych ward. So I'm sure it comes as no surprise that her hospital post got community noted. But before we get into that, we'd find out through another VTuber's quote tweet that Cha-Cha Chilla didn't just have one past life, she had two. They'd say, you don't know when to quit, do you? 3 years ago, before she was Cha-Cha Chilla, before she was Bunny Ilisu, she was Nia Charisse. She tried to cancel me on my birthday subathon when I was being vulnerable to her privately, and she twisted my insecurities to try and scare me out of the VTubing space. She also tried to drive a wedge between me and one of my best friends while screwing them out of hundreds of dollars. Seeing you do all this and worse to so many other people makes me fucking sick. 3 years later and you haven't changed a bit, fuck off and never come back. It seemed like Cha-Cha had a track record, and every time she would get caught, she would just rebrand into a new VTuber.
I'm not gonna lie, all right, if we're exposing the things that she did, if you're probably wondering while you've watched this entire video exactly why I'm extremely angry at this woman, it's because I remember the last time I ever spoke to her, she called me while I was about to go to dinner with friends, and it was like a minute-long call. But I remember this very specifically, where she called me to tell me that she was like, hey, no, I don't want to worry you, but there's someone that really doesn't like you, and they're writing up a Google Doc on you, which I was very confused by, because as we all know, and as we've seen time and time again throughout all of my cancellations on the internet, none of them have ever involved the Google Doc, because I've actually literally never done anything wrong. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like so insanely confused, because I was like, what do you mean a Google Doc on me, bro? I literally don't do anything. Like, what the fuck? But she was like, yeah, you know, just so you know, the Google Doc is coming, and I hope you're gonna do okay. And I was like, okay, sure. The Google Doc never came, obviously, and I'm not sure why she even did that. I'm not sure why she, you know, thought to maybe try to stress me out with that, but it pissed me off when it happened, right? It made me extremely angry when it happened, because in my head, I was like, okay, I know that a lot of people don't like me, but I know that no one's stupid enough to write a Google Doc on me, because they know that it would be disproven very quickly. Secondarily, I was like, if she's writing a Google Doc on me, that would just piss me off even more, because what the fuck does she know about me? You know what I mean? I barely knew this woman. So like, it was such an insane thing that just made me angry. And I was like, whatever, I will never speak to this human being ever again. And guess what? I never did. She messaged me like a couple more times, and I never responded to a single goddamn message this woman ever sent me. And to find out that this was the same person that pissed me off in that moment several years back, right? There are other things that she did that made me angry and upset, but I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna let that slide. But that one specifically pissed me off so much that it was the reason I chose to physically never communicate with this person ever again. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Why did I not notice this? Why did I still communicate with this person in this Minecraft event? You know what I mean? It was like, it really made me mad, man. Like, it really made me mad, you know?
As time went on, more and more people caught on to the idea that this was another identity of the same person.
They're going to destroy all VTubers or something and make
itself. Creator would claim that Cha-Cha Chilla was
have
the
more
same
viewers.
girl
I don't
who
know.
crashed a dinner party that a friend of theirs hosted back in TwitchCon Vegas.
Oh my god, bro, I had heard about the dinner party thing too. Dude, there's so many fucking instances with this goddamn woman, right? But no one ever told me the name, right? They were like, oh yeah, there was just someone who was at a dinner party that made people uncomfortable, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm so sorry that happened, right?
Never paid a part of her bill and irresponsibly drank with strangers during the event. People were very uncomfortable with the fact that she was mixing her medication with alcohol.
Crazy.
The list, of course, here would go on, with her being accused of spreading multiple false rumors about the content creator and their friends in question, and sending lewd photos of herself with zero consent to this content creator that she since then deleted, even claiming that Cha-Cha Chilla was also a doxer, something that many others in the community have already claimed. This wasn't just a serial offender at this point, this was like an on-the-run fugitive in the VTuber community. What the hell is this? But the thing is, this wasn't just about her past controversies. People were doubting the picture that she linked. Even though her face is censored, you can see on the edge here that the hair is pink and it's fairly long. The community note on her post about the hospital would actually talk about this, saying the picture OP provided in the subtweet is not them. It is highly likely they are lying for pity. They are a known liar to gain social equity, linking a tweet. That tweet would say, this picture is not her. She doesn't have pink dyed hair. Her hair is natural brown / dark blonde mix. Seeing what she looked like in Zentrea's off-guy stream where she heavily self-promoted herself to the point that both Zen and our favorite monarch got uncomfortable, this is a fake pic. So apparently that's also bonus info. She was heavily self-promoting in someone else's stream during the convention. Wonderful. They would then reply to their own post saying, for anyone doubting my words, this is her a month ago, still short blonde brownish hair, taken from her own media tab. Now get off my bum just because I'm speaking facts. So yeah, as we can see, this is short hair and there's not a single shade of pink. Now look, Cha-Cha apparently is a cosplayer. She might have used a wig at Off-Guy, and some people were also alleging that this image was actually taken from a thread from somewhere else, but it actually wasn't, as much as it's believable seeing who we're dealing with here. Someone actually just took Cha-Cha's picture and posted it in this thread, which was about VTuber.
Yeah, that's what I figured happened eventually too.
Additionally, this image was being posted saying that it's the original one without the emoji, but it's actually AI, and you can see this on the monitor in the back. It even got community noted. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because we don't need fake proof to prove that this is a very weird story, because all we have to do is look at her Discord server when this was all going down. someone would compile images of what was going on in her Discord after she had posted the hospital pic, and it shows us a clear understanding of how she was trying her best to prove that she was actually in the room with the help of her community. The first thing she'd do is post this, saying, also, yes, I have pink hair and the brown hair is a wig, confirming that yes, she was cosplaying at Off Guy, she currently has pink hair. Her own Discord was kind of doubting her, saying, maybe you have a friend who took this picture, to which Chacha would reply with, so I have a pink-haired friend I got to send me hospital pics and a selfie right now? That's
bro, when your own Discord is like up against you, bro, like what are you doing? What are you fucking doing at that point, dog? Like, just hack it up and run. You know what I mean? Like, just quit, dude.
Kind of dumb. Regardless though, her Discord wasn't really on her side. They were pushing her to get a piece of paper and write the name and the date so that people understand that this is actually her. She would then go ahead and post it, replying to the initial post of her proving she has pink hair. The image would say Chacha, but the date would be very weird. It would say 1/1/9. That's what it looked like. Her Discord would point this out. What is this, 119? To which Chacha would say, no, it's meant to say 11/19. I know my handwriting is bad, but damn. Someone would then say, what's with the date and different hair shade? To which she would say, the hair is the same, it's my same hair. A couple of people would believe this, but many others wouldn't. Some of the people in the Discord would ask her to take another picture that's clearer, that has a better date, and she would say, because you're doubting me when I'm showing proof and making me take more and more photos, it feels like you're trolling me. She'd then finally give in and say, fine, I'll take another photo with the same shirt that she had worn in the hospital. And then as someone was giving her advice as to how she could stand up to make the lighting look better and match the picture in the hospital, she would say, I don't like standing a lot. I stood for one photo quickly and started feeling dizzy. Someone would say, come on now. To which she would say, you do realize I have a heart condition that makes me faint when I stand for long periods? I can show you the tilt table test. To which one of the people trying to help her would say, okay, I give up, you are a liar. She would then post the image of that test.
Bro, like her own community, like who is trying, right? Trying to be on her side.
This VTuber allegations is becoming a monthly element. Sorry if I'm going a bit off topic, but every new month there's another VTuber controversy. It's a very interesting pattern.
No, it is. It is a very interesting pattern that VTubers get like canceled so often. Also, why did the AI voice sound like it was moaning? What was that? That was kind of weird. Anyway, but like the fact that like the person in her community, right, is just here trying to help her, and she's just not cooperating. It's crazy, bro. Like to the point where they're like, all right, you know what? You're just a liar. It's like, that's so funny. It's so funny, but it's so sad. It's just so sad to see. Like, I've never seen a person just get beat down so much. You know, not even Cinder took a beating like this, right? Like, you know, it's just, I know, a crazy statement to say out loud, but it feels true.
Right? Even though a lot of people were already turning on her by this point. And after many minutes of arguing about how she gets dizzy when she's standing up and how she can't do it, someone would just say, hey, can you just do it sitting down? Can you just shut up and do it sitting down? She'd say, okay, fine. And then she'd finally take another picture with her sitting down. As far as I'm aware though, she wouldn't post this one on Twitter. Someone would mention that she's missing the paper that says the date and her name, to which she would say, what the fuck, you didn't say that, like you didn't specify for me to take it with it. Her Discord would then start infighting, right? Some people were on Chacha's side, some people weren't, and they would just start like going at each other's throats, and she would just stop participating in the conversation. So yeah, here's the image of her sitting down, because again, if she stands up, she'll just faint, guys. Here's the hospital one. Is it the same shade? Up to you to decide. But one thing is for certain, this image is really weird. I don't know why you would write the date like this. Look, I can maybe say that this is a 19, right? This could be excused as a 1, but then you have 3 different lines. What do they signify? That doesn't look like an 11 to me. It looks like 119.
It does look like 119.
Reply here was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Everyone was like, dude, what did you even write?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It literally, I agree with this person. It looks like it was AI generated, which I know it's so weird at this point. It's so freaking weird, bro. I'm angering myself. Why did I even decide to watch this video? I'm getting mad and upset at this person by watching this video. It's like I'm reliving my goddamn trauma. Why do I even willingly, like, you know, expose myself to this VTuber drama, bro? Like, why? I have nothing else to add to this. I'm just reacting to it and, like, you know, bringing you guys in for the journey of me angering myself while we all get angered by VTuber drama.
Like what? This is January 2009? Like what kind of date is this? It only made her look way worse. And then just as you thought that things couldn't get way crazier than this, she would make a tweet because of course she lacks self-awareness entirely. She'd say, if anybody wants to help with lawyer fees, and would link her stream elements in order to get donations. Yes, that's the tweet. This came out of nowhere. What lawyer fees? Who are you suing? What are you talking about? It would only be the next day in which she would finally specify what she's raising lawyer funds for, saying, for those that wanted me to specify, I plan on taking Apollo to court and suing her for slander and defamation. She has stated many false things about me with no evidence to back these claims up. Apollo would then quote tweet that and say, I hope you do. That would be so funny. Now, I don't know what could have possibly changed Cha-Cha Chilla's mind here, but shortly afterwards, she would delete that tweet. She would also delete the tweet in which she was asking for lawyer fees, right? And the funny thing here is that if she actually were to sue, which come on, everyone knew that would never happen, the burden of proof would actually fall upon her. She would have to prove that she's innocent, right? And so far, she's been doing a terrible job at this. Man, it's insane what delusion and narcissism can do. In any case, Flork would end this by saying, okay, folks, while I deeply appreciate the support, the matter is done and over with now. There's no need to continue with it. Let's not tell someone to KYS, let's lower the temperature. What's done is done and the matter is over. I wish it didn't get to that point, but it is what it is. I wouldn't wish anyone getting to a mental breaking point. Cha-Cha, I don't know what drove you to all this. Get the help you need and move on. You can't keep doing this in public, getting backlash when people defend themselves and then get to this point. He would then go ahead and say that he does forgive her, but hopes that she evaluates if this stuff is right for her. He hopes that she can get help. At Free, the one who was also blamed by Cha-Cha, would say, I have a lot of incredibly sweet DMs. Thank you for checking up on me. I promise normally I'm a silly little bug and I'll get back to that soon. More than anything, I think we should celebrate the incredible job Lucia and the team did. You guys navigated unknown terrain and made sure that everyone was having a blast. Sometimes I am
happy about that
Cheers
too.
to the next one. We live, we learn, we entertain.
And I'm looking forward to the next Minecraft event, guys, because I think I'm gonna be brilliant in that one too. I'm just saying, guys, you know, reacting to this video is my way of telling you that, you know, I'm gonna be in another Minecraft event really soon. Actually, I'm going to be a part of the SVA Minecraft event, funnily enough. Now there was an application process to it. I didn't apply. In fact, I missed the application entirely. Then the CEO sent me a DM inviting me, which proves that I once again am getting a corporate handout, and that probably doesn't make anyone happy hearing that out loud. But like, if you ignore all of that, right, like it's going to be a fun, good time, you know?
To then express how lucky she is to have her agency SVA, and that she couldn't imagine going through this as an independent VTuber. So yeah, this whole thing was just wild, a complete roller coaster of emotions. And just like any big problem that blows out of proportion in many of my videos or just on Twitter in general, it could have ended way earlier if the person involved had just apologized and taken a step back. Cha-Cha Chilla isn't some random VTuber. This is someone with past history who has hurt people deeply. The good news, though, is that their new attempt to reinvent themselves has completely failed, and she'll probably make another account in the coming year or something, I don't know. If there's one silver lining here, is that it did raise awareness on Sock's agency, on the fact that its own CEO will defend his talents like no one else.
Which is
a really cool thing to have.
Which is good.
At the same time, it also did raise more awareness on the efforts of Lucia and Orisa when it came to making that server. Hopefully next time, it'll be even bigger and better and won't have any problematic people involved. And finally, when it comes to Cha-Cha Chilla, the last tweet you can see on her feed was her saying that she has pink hair and that the brown hair is a wig. However, she did make another tweet along the lines of, I've seen many people say that I should get a real job, but I'm disabled, blah, 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 really pushing the whole disabled narrative even further. But she deleted that tweet, and I had no time to take a screenshot of it. However, we can still see her talking about this in the replies. Someone said, okay, you can't do a physical job, then get a desk job, to which she would say, are you going to pay for my college degree? She hasn't learned a single thing. She hasn't apologized to a single person.
Like, it's really sad to see. You know what I mean?
Hopeless. It's incredible what some people will do instead of just saying sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this roller coaster train wreck nuclear bomb until the end. I really appreciate it. I also wanted to quickly mention that GamerSupps has a new...
Dude, what a colossal event, by the way. Like, literally going and just like seeing this happen on the timeline when it happened just really angered me for the few moments that it was on my timeline. And eventually I tried to just tune it out and like focus on other things, but I just wanted to react to this video and I wanted to go over it again because I had briefly like talked about it on my stream, but it's so stupid, and I feel feel like every single time that there is VTuber drama, a lot of VTuber drama is just really incredibly dumb, and it could just be figured out incredibly easily and quickly. And in certain instances like this one, I feel like it is important to talk about, because like I feel like with every VTuber drama, we realize more and more that a lot of people in the VTuber community are just fucking insane. And I do mean quite literally insane. And it is crazy to me. It is crazy to me that like every few months we find out about a new person that is just doing something just abhorrently insane, you know? And like I'm hoping every single time this is the last one. We'll never have to see something like this again. But unfortunately, I think we will. And when it happens, I mean, I'll react to it again, but like I would hope that it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like I would really just hope that it literally doesn't happen. But whatever the case though, that was a fun little reaction that we just did there. And yeah, I think she's stupid as fuck. I really do. Really do. But I agree with the sentiment that like hopefully she steps away, she gets the help that she needs. And realistically, and I don't say this lightly, but I do think that she should never come back, and she should just realistically trying to find herself and other things that make her happy, because quite literally I don't think that creating content can, especially given her reactions to a lot of things that happen in the space. But yeah, that's my thoughts. That's it. Thank you for watching my reaction to a Muujin video. Muujin, don't copyright me.